The preg split function is like PHP's explode in that it allows us to split a string up into an array, but using a regular expression as the delimiter. Just like with the other functions, we pass a pattern, a subject, and then we have some additional optional parameters that we can use as well. So first, we need some data to work with. I've created a file.txt with simply 3 lines. So our goal here is to turn each of these items into an array key. So we'll ultimately have an array with this as the first item, this as the second, and this as the third. Now I want you to note this is actually as easy as using the PHP file function. So I could say f equals file.txt. And what that's going to do is it's going to read a file and take each line and turn that into an array. So let's test that out. We're on index 3. And sure enough, if we view the source, we have an array with 3 items. But let's take this a little bit further, and we're going to start by using preg_split. So we'll change this and we'll say preg split. The first parameter is our regular expression. So how would we represent a new line in PHP? And we would use \n, similar to \d for digit, \w for a word character, \r for the return key. So here we're going to look for a new line. And what are we working with? We are working with contents of file.txt. So let's make sure that we grab that. I'm going to paste that value in, and let's keep it like so. So if we want to echo out the value, sure enough, we're getting the exact same thing, but this time we're using preg_split. So right now, you could do this same thing using the explode function. And that's an important distinction to make. If you can get away with not using regular expressions, always do so, because they are much more costly to you. So if you can use, in PHP's case, the explode function or the string split function, or perhaps the string rpose function, those are always going to be faster than using something like preg match or preg split. So keep that in mind. These are the last case scenarios. Let's return to file.txt, and we're going to create a new line. Hello again. But this time, rather than using new lines as a separator, we're going to use a semicolon and then a space. And I'm going to add a bit more gibberish. So now, if we were to come back and reload the page and view the source, because it did not find a new line, it put everything on that third key. But what if we wanted to say that either is okay? Look for each item, and we're going to use a separator as a new line, or also with a semicolon. Either one will work. All right, well, we can do that easily if we use preg split. So we want to say look for a new line, or, and we can use a pipe to represent or, a semicolon. And in this case, it's not just a semicolon, but a semicolon and a space. So let's add that in. We could either do a literal space like so, or we could use \s, which refers to a space character. So first, let's stick to a single space. So I'll save that, reload the page, and sure enough, that worked just fine. In one case, it uses a new line. In another case, it uses a semicolon. We're able to do that simply by typing 3 or 4 regular expression characters. So now that you've had an introduction to PHP's regular expression functions, why don't we, in Chapter 3, return to our regex web app and start taking a look at some more advanced topics, such as look-aheads and look-behinds, which can be really powerful. So stay tuned in Chapter 3.